Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. This is Expresso right here on SABC3. Yes, all eyes of the world are on the United States of America as they are in the process of electing a new president. But being a country with multiple international relations, we have to ask how and if the election could affect the South African economy. Joining us this morning to make sense of all of this is Professor Mark Ellyne. Professor Mark Ellyne, how are you? Welcome to Expresso.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Well, we are glued to our screens, of course, taking in those results as they come in. America to us as South Africans is a superpower, not only in terms of everything, but also in terms of the powerful currency. What could happen to a country like South Africa based on the decisions that are made in America today?
I think I would put the sort of impact of the United States into an economic and a political.
Yeah.
The economics is most importantly trade, and the U.S. does a lot of business with South Africa. I think it's the #2 trading partner now. After China, it used to be the #1. And we're talking about, of imports and exports together, something like over $12 billion US. It's big. And also, you mentioned, because the U.S. is a very powerful currency and interest rates make a difference, there's that aspect as well. Everybody is watching to see if the Federal Reserve is going to raise interest rates. If they do, it makes it look more interesting to put your money in the U.S. than to put it into South Africa. So it may take some money, pull some money back to the U.S. So we've got a trade effect and this political effect. You know, if we look at the difference between Donald Trump, what he represents, I think I would say that he represents a more isolationist posture. You know, he's against immigration. He wants to build a wall. I mean, this is a very isolationist sort of stance. He doesn't want to be part of these trade agreements. He wants to take the U.S. out of the trade agreement. So as an African, you want to ask yourself, well, what does that mean for Africa? Well, you know, if he wants to pull back on trade, probably means tougher trade deals, maybe less trade with the United States. And is this good for Africa? Personally, I'm sort of a globalist. I think globalization, and we find in the studies that overall globalization has been beneficial for the whole world, and particularly for developing countries. But there's winners and losers in all cases. But if the U.S. now pulls back and there's less trade with Africa, I don't think this is a positive result at all for Africa. The U.S. has this special arrangement with Africa called the Africa AGOA, this African Growth and Opportunity Act. They're importing a lot of goods. South Africa exports a lot of goods to the U.S. Without duties. There's been estimates that this is responsible for creating some 60,000 jobs in Africa.
We have benefited from it quite a bit,
So these are good things, and there's always sort of fine-tuning that goes on. But if you're going to sort of pull back on that, I think that there's not so many benefits. There's not benefits. There's disbenefits. There's penalties for African countries who are benefiting.
Wow. Because my next question to you was going to be the fact that, of course, there can only be one winner. And what would voting for a particular country, what impact? I mean, not country, but candidate. What impact would that have on markets financially and economically, especially when it comes to South Africa? And I think you've actually just answered that.
Well, that's right. The other thing to keep in mind is that nothing changes very quickly. There's a big bureaucracy in the United States. This is one man. I don't think I'm reminded of what we saw happen in Brexit. Everyone expected it was a dramatic vote. And if Donald Trump wins, it'll be a similar Brexit-type vote. But in fact, I think if people are expecting something dramatic and quick, it's not going to happen very dramatically or very quickly. But it does represent sort of a shift in policy. And Donald Trump he's anti-corruption. He's made he made some comments about some African leaders some time ago. He would be very tough on corruption. and he would be pulling back this isolationist. I think this is the main theme.
Thank you so much, Professor Mark Ellyne, for being with us. Of course, shedding some light this morning on the US election and the economic and financial impact that it will have on the rest of the world. We're taking a global view this morning. So much more to come on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Zoe's over talking about finances.